Iranian state media now reporting new explosions around the Strait of Hormuz as the battle with the United States for control of the area continues. The latest strikes, one of them come near the port city of Bandar Abbas. It follows a night of reciprocal strikes, with the US saying it hit military sites across Iran. Earlier, President Trump said his forces were hitting Iran very hard. US Central Command say they struck targets across the country in a 5-hour mission. Iranian forces say they hit and disabled 2 supertankers in the Strait of Hormuz. 1 crew member was killed, 8 others wounded. Iran also said it attacked US sites in Bahrain, with reports of Gulf nations again intercepting aerial attacks. Iran also targeted US airbase in Jordan with ballistic missiles, which Jordan says it shot down. Let's bring you the latest from the Gulf. We can speak to Middle East analyst Luciano Zacchara, who joins us now from Doha. Good to have you with us. So reports on Iranian state media of strikes near Bandar Abbas, also near Bushehr, Luciano. How significant is it that we're now seeing daytime strikes?
Well, it is very significant because it looks like what we were expecting to be just limited and temporary attacks are becoming more permanent, and they're becoming much bigger than the attacks that we were witnessing a few weeks ago. So we don't have a ceasefire anymore. It looks like the announcement of Trump was true, that according to him, there's no more ceasefire, and therefore we are again in a new phase of this war that nobody expected to be resumed after the signature of the memorandum.
And Luciano, how has it been in Qatar?
Well, in Qatar, it's not, we are worried because we had already 2 big attacks. The last one was 2 days ago. It was at 5:30 in the morning and 6:45. And we were hurt very, very heavily because the explosions were heard on top of the city. Even the media reported 3 injuries for the debris that they felt. So we didn't expect after 3 months to see again this kind of attacks here in Qatar. But it seems that since the passing of Sheikh Hamad, Iran decided not to attack, at least today and yesterday, only the other countries that were mentioned before. We'll see how is it going to continue in the coming days.
And Luciano, what are you hearing from inside Iran? What do the hardliners believe the US is trying to do here? Because there are some thoughts that maybe they are softening the ground in preparation, perhaps, for ground forces.
Well, I don't think that the Iranians are much worried about the ground invasion. I think that this idea was discarded a long time ago, that they don't expect a kind of invasion, but they do expect different kind of attacks in Harg Island and other places that they were mentioned before, more importantly Bushehr, which is very dangerous considering that the nuclear power plant is there, and previous attacks already reached very close to the nuclear plant, which is also something that is going to affect the whole region, not only Iranian electrical infrastructure. But I think that the Iranians, what they don't want is the United States to impose their force in the Strait of Hormuz, that they want to keep this card and they want to keep the control, because this is the best card they have in order to achieve some benefits in negotiation that it was until a couple of days ago still ongoing.
So, Luciano, with Iran attacking ships and also some Gulf states as well, is it possible to assess how degraded Iranian forces are, how much damage has been done?
Well, this has been the question since the very beginning of the war. We have been hearing that the Iranian military capacity has been totally obliterated, degraded, and now we cannot understand what is going on. I mean, still Iran has ballistic missiles being launched, meaning that there are certain capacity of replenishment of their stocks, and they are being able to still attack 3, 4, or 5 countries simultaneously at different times. Of course, most of them intercepted, but this doesn't mean that Iran does not have the capacity to do so. And every time that Iran tries to do something like that, again, the traffic in the Strait of Hormuz is paralyzed. So whatever capacity they have is still significant enough to put the whole economy of the world at stake. So this is something that can give the idea to the United States that the military level, this cannot be solved in any way. So it should be a political solution to stop this war, at least in a consistent way along the negotiations.
And what about these ongoing attacks that we're now seeing on these port cities in Iran? Luciano, what effect is it having on civilians?
Well, so far they were reported a lot of dead people. The last, I think that there were 3 members of one single family. Of course, this is having a major impact in the civilian population, but not as big as it was during the main campaigns in March. So it's possible to say that they are focusing more on military infrastructure right now, but it's affecting different cities. So the spectrum of the attacks of the United States, not only Bandar Abbas or Bushehr or Qasem Island, they are reaching different areas or different cities in very inland Iran.